ask yourself, what's the thing I'm procrastinating on? Okay, it's that. I know I should be doing. I know I get that. Okay. What is the least amount of time you could spend enjoyably every single day? How can you make it as easy and as enjoyable as humanly possible so that you can stick to it each and every single day without burning out?
Everyone. Welcome back to Frustrated to Fluent. I'm your host, Devon Bruce. I'm the founder and CEO of the English Communication Academy. We help non native English speakers in healthcare communicate effectively with their patients, colleagues, and staff. And today I'm speaking with Jesse Holmes. Jesse is an entrepreneur and a procrastination expert. He helps people and businesses achieve their goals in 6 months or less without procrastination or overwhelm. He has helped many people get out of their own way so they can be productive in their careers and in their businesses. So, Jesse, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Devin. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm so excited that you're here because procrastination is something that the people that we serve really struggle with. And as you know, and we'll get into it, procrastination is literally what keeps people stuck
That's right.
for months, years, even decades, sometimes indefinitely because of this one thing. And so the fact that we are going to be talking about this today and hopefully helping as many people as we can so that way they can get out of their own way and they can be the healthcare leaders that they know that they're capable of being. So yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you.
I love that.
Okay, so this very first question, just really just go there. So is procrastination, is it really about laziness or is it about something deeper?
That's a fantastic question. So, Harvard has been doing some studies on this recently, and they say that has nothing to do with laziness or even poor time management, but they actually have linked it to symptoms like perfectionism, overwhelm, fear of failure, self doubt, lack of confidence, what I like to call analysis paralysis or overthinking, lack of clarity, not knowing where to start, or actually just being on the verge of burnout.
You just hit everything that we talk about all the time, all day, every day. Because a lot of people in with the people that we serve, they're very busy. It doesn't matter if they're a medical student or if they are leading global teams. They all pretty much say the same thing. I'm too busy because I have patients or research to do. And because it's not urgent, like let's say
Uh-huh.
someone trying to find a job, it's English, they feel like they can put it off. So the lack of urgency plus I'm busy, it equals disaster. So I'm so glad that you're like, actually, it has nothing to do with those things. It has to do with these things. And so, oh, just to hear that, it just makes me feel awesome. Now, I know that you just basically said very clearly what it is, but I still want to ask you, what is a myth about procrastination that many people believe, especially people in very high stakes careers like healthcare?
Yeah, one of the biggest myth is that you can like convince yourself not to procrastinate. Like you can like talk your way out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Where
okay.
you're trying to like reason or bargain or, some people even as worse, they shame themselves or guilt themselves into trying to get themselves motivated, where really it's not really like a willpower or a motivational issue. And those things that you try to like force yourself to do actually cause more harm than good because it adds to the overwhelm and the self-doubt and over analyzing and all these kind of things and this fear of failure and beating yourself up, like all of that only makes and also multiplies procrastination.
Wow. I think that's a myth that a lot of people truly believe. And I think that's one of those things that really keeps people stuck because you're right. And we all do this, you know, we all try to force ourselves to do something when we genuinely don't want to do it, but we know we have to do it. And that guilt and that shame, it comes in. And sometimes it really sticks. It sticks hard. So just the fact that this is something that a lot of people believe it just keeps people so stuck. And then we, as the public, when it comes to people in healthcare, we all lose because we're not getting the best version of our doctor. The system itself loses because people are not taking initiative. And so it's like this one thing is just creating so much poison in the industry. So,
Mm.
yeah. So, on your side of it, I'm just going to ask you on your side of things, what are some common things that people say about procrastination that beats themselves up? Like, oh, I can't do it, or, I'm not good enough.
Yeah, it's all the stories that we tell ourselves, right? The if onlys, if only I didn't have that, if only I didn't have this, all the things that we try to justify the reason why we're not achieving what we are hoping to achieve. We got to convince ourselves that there's something else out there that is causing me to not get the thing done or achieve my goal. One, it's a safety thing. It's none of us want to none of us want to be like, because honestly, if we knew what it was and we knew how to overcome it, we probably wouldn't be struggling with it. So we always have to
True.
justify some sort of outside thing. I was literally talking to my dad about this yesterday. It was his 70th birthday. And I was talking to him like, "Hey, dad, like,
Oh.
what are some of your like biggest goals and dreams and things like that?" He's like, "Well, with he's 70, he's starting to have some health issues. His doctor started to prescribe him on statins, things like that." He's like, "Oh, but if only this, and if only I didn't." He had all these reasons that he told himself for why he wasn't getting the thing done. I said, "Dad, that has nothing to do with it. Like, what?" And we'll get to more into my prescription and things like that for him later. But just thinking that there's something else outside of me, that's causing me to be this way when it's all really inside.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And, my parents are in the same age group, and I hear that too, not just from them, but just from a lot of people. If only A happens, then we can do B. When if you really think outside the box, there's so many different things that you could do to get what you want and get what you need. So I'm really glad that you touched on that. Now, a lot of our listeners, like I said, they're non-native English speakers in healthcare, and language insecurity is their biggest thing. That's what we help them with. And so, from your perspective, how can language insecurity or a fear of sounding unprofessional or not educated, how can that contribute to procrastination?
Absolutely. So the reason why children take to new languages so quickly and easily is because they're not afraid to sound silly or mess up. They don't have that even programmed into them yet. They're used to the babbling. They're used to just, people being okay with them not sounding perfect. And a lot of that fear keeps, obviously, as a language teacher, that fear of sounding wrong, a fear of doing it wrong prevents us from practicing it at all. And I say, if it's worth doing wrong. Like, everyone starts at the same place. Everyone starts at zero, and you gotta fall before you walk. And you have to there's no getting around making the mistakes. Like, just the way we all learned our first language, we did it through the Googles and the Gagas and the babbling and the mistakes repeatedly until it was coherent. And with the problem with us as adults is we have a lot of pride and a lot of ego and a lot of, but what will people think of me? That actually hinders you from growth and actually achieving your goal. Because the more quickly you can actually get through and make those mistakes, the better that you'll actually sound, and you'll actually overcome that fear instead of, oh, I'm too afraid of sounding bad. And you actually make it worse.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that we do in the academy. So what we do is we help the individual doctor, and we also help the system. So we help the medical school, the research facility, the pharmaceutical company. We help the whole industry. And one of the things that we do that we really strive is to create a safe space, because the
Mm,
guilt and the shame and the stigma of someone needing help with something basic as English when they are a healthcare leader, it really causes them to feel like they are unworthy. And
mm,
so that fear is what really keeps them stuck. And so having a place where they feel safe and seen, and it's okay to get messy. It's okay to need help. And I'm just going to touch a little bit on my own language learning. So I'm learning Arabic, and I'm so grateful that I'm in the position that I'm in because I have career goals with my Arabic, but because of the position that I'm in, I know that I need a safe space. So I made sure that the teacher that I'm working with is kind and generous and extremely patient because it's messy. You know, you have to get in the trenches and really do the work. And so there's no ego, there's no fear, but I also empathize with them because in healthcare, it can be a matter of life or death.
So much
So
more
the
stressful.
stakes are extremely high for them. It's extremely high. Now, when it comes to fear that we've been talking about, how can someone start moving past it?
Fantastic question. So,
Thanks.
um, a lot of what I'm speaking on and things like that comes from not only of my last 19 years of entrepreneurial experiencing and building up businesses and overcoming those fears and things like that, but I also went through a severe generalized anxiety disorder for a number of years, and learning how to get through that and understanding what fear truly was and how to properly react to it is the basis for really understanding and overcoming these fear of failures and the procrastination that holds us back from taking action. I remember when I was in the absolute thick of my anxiety, taking out the garbage felt like an impossible task. Like it just, I was so locked in my head, I couldn't do anything. And I really had to learn how to, one, not only take care of myself and give myself the proper rest and care, but also how to take the proper safe steps repeatedly in a way that could rebuild my confidence and rebuild who I was. And
Yeah.
my whole premise on how to overcome this fear and to take one step forward, I have it in a planner that I recommend everyone download on my website. But basically, what I do is I take them through this process of understanding and unlocking what that fear is, and how can we make it as easy and as enjoyable as possible to get started on it every single day without burning out.
Mm, that's fantastic. And also congratulations on doing the work and dealing with your anxiety. A lot of people struggle with it and they don't do it. It's kind of like what you said that people think it's something outside of themselves and so they don't handle it. So the fact that you literally just did the work and now you're helping people, I really commend you on that because that's not easy to do. That's not
Oh,
easy to do at all.
it was the hardest battle of my entire life. I don't wish it on my worst enemy, but now I can help others with overcoming their fears, especially when it comes to achieving their goals. Because fear is fear; it still locks us in our head. It still holds us back. Doesn't matter if it's fear of talking to someone or a stranger, or fear of achieving that big dream or goal that you know that you're worthy of achieving.
Yeah, yeah. I'll share something. So when I first started my business, I was moving from being like an ESL teacher to starting being like an English coach. So I had like a 10-week program for a while. Then I went to group sessions. Then I had like a membership program. And then I completely expanded to an academy with now I have a team and now we help. Like I said, I've been just really been expanding over the years, right? Anyway, about a year and a half ago, when I was like really starting to expand in a brand new way that I never envisioned that I would, plus also finding out that I'm ranked number 1 in the US, number 7 worldwide for language education on LinkedIn. It felt like a lot. I was so excited and grateful, but it was a lot, right? Anyway, I'll never forget this. I was driving my kids somewhere and I was on the highway and the anxiety, it was horrible. I've never experienced anxiety like that in my life. And so for a while, I struggled with driving, especially driving on a highway. And it felt like it came out of nowhere. And I was like, why can't I drive anymore? And so I had to do the work. I had to figure out what was the cause of me having this fear of driving. And so I had to discover that when I was really expanding at that time, I was starting to feel trapped in a way that I never thought I would. And so driving was just a perfect example of feeling trapped, especially on a highway when you're just driving and there's no exit. So I had to train myself literally to say, okay, I can always pull over. I always have an option. Even though I'm on the highway and I don't see exits and I'm scared because I can't get off the highway, I can always pull over. And so I had to build it from there. And so, talking about it in this case, when it comes to procrastination and non native English speakers, we all have our own set of fears that get in our way. But you have to do the work. You have to find the time to do the work. You have to find the time. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. What should someone do when they know what to do? Like they have an idea, but they just can't bring themselves to do
Taking
it. Like
action
we
on it.
talked about it, but what do you how does someone change that?
Yeah, how do you get over that hump? How do you make that shift, that change?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned before, I have a free what I call procrastination planner on my website, and that's I walk through this simple fill in the blank, like 4-step process to make that mindset shift change. Because all of us have something locked into our subconscious that is holding us back, that we know that we're afraid of, that we know what we should be doing. We all know what we should be doing, but it's how do I get over that hump of just getting started and getting started in a way that I can be consistent at it? Because a lot of people, myself included, we're very emotional based, reactionary based. When I have the motivation, I'll do it. And when I don't have the motivation, I don't do it. That's not predictable growth and success. What you need to do is you need to make it as easy and as enjoyable to stick to every single day so you can actually take one step closer to goal, one foot in front of the other each and every single day. So I suggest with anybody, how do I carve out the time to do the thing? You got to make it as easy as possible to get started, even if it's only a few minutes. Like make it so simple and so silly almost. And I'm only spending a few minutes at it, but it's just building that in and building that momentum and making it enjoyable so that you enjoy the whole process as you go through it. Not that it's a grind or a force, but like overcoming that mountain in your head of just like, okay, how can I make this easy? How can I make it enjoyable? And how can I make sure I can stick to it each and every single day?
Ah, I'm smiling from ear to ear because, like I said before, one of the biggest things that we hear is, I just don't have the time. Well, that's why we created 1 Minute English inside the Academy.
I
The
love that.
Academy itself is free. Anyone in healthcare can join, but it's like a cohort that we do each month. And it's like 14 to 21 days. And the members get to choose what we're going to do. But it's 1 minute a day,
I love that.
1 minute. And so it's
You're speaking my
prompts that
language.
they do to think about their English. So it's like, okay, you have 1 minute to spare. Pull up your phone, do the prompt. We
That's right.
try to make sure that there's no reason
That's
whatsoever.
right.
And we try to make it fun because it's a group effort. And one of the things that the people that we serve struggle with is alienation. They feel like they're on an island of one and they're just by themselves in this. So, yes, I fully agree with you on
Yes.
making it small and making it doable, but making it fun. Make it not seem like it's such a chore to
That's right.
do. And that has been really transformative. Like we have a surgeon not too long ago who was so skeptical, was like, "How can I really make a difference in 1 minute a day?" And then he wrote a post in the academy and was like, "Wow, I really like this. I'm seeing a difference and it's only been a few minutes." Uh he wrote in the post, it only takes me about 53 seconds to do this.
I love that. I love that. You're speaking my language. That's completely everything I fully agree and teach with, and that's how I've seen so much results and growth in my own life and business is by just making those simple, easy, small steps consistently, making them enjoyable and fun to do, and that's where you're gonna see the most growth in achieving your goals quicker than you ever thought was possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% up there. Now finally, if someone is listening and they are like, "Okay, I want to overcome this. I have an idea of why I'm procrastinating. I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it." What is one small doable strategy that someone can try today if they've been putting something off for days, weeks, or even years?
That's a great question. So that's why I said I wrap it up again in my procrastination planner. It's a simple fill in the blank template. You can get that on my website, effortlessgrowth.co. But it's very simple. It's okay. What is the thing? Ask yourself, what's the thing I'm procrastinating on? Okay, it's that. I know I should be doing. I know I get that. Okay. What is the least amount of time you could spend enjoyably every single day? How can you make it as easy and as enjoyable as humanly possible so that you can stick to it each and every single day without burning out? So, that 1 minute language thing that you said, you can apply that to literally any area of your life, any goal that you're trying to achieve. What's the least amount of time you could spend on it? How can you make it so enjoyable that you get pulled towards it instead of having to push yourself? And how can you make sure that you do it each and every single day consistently without burning out to make sure that you stick to it?
And it seemed like that's the key. Sticking to it, consistency is the name of the game. Making it fun, enjoyable, a small amount of time, and being consistent. It seems like that's the name of the game.
That's
And
how
yeah,
you
I
win. That's how you win.
yeah. Yeah, because I'm on Duolingo and for my Arabic, and I have like, I don't know, almost an 1,100 day streak. And sometimes people are like, "Oh my gosh, how do you?" And I'm like, "Listen, there are some days I can be on there for 30 minutes, but on some days I got 30 seconds. I can do 30 seconds to keep my streak going."
That's right.
And it's just a simple decision that I made. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, because I think a lot of people think that overcoming this is like this big, colossal, monumental thing that just feels like this juggernaut that people simply can't overcome. But you're like, no, if you have the right plan in place, you can really tackle this.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. Thank you. So, Jesse, where can people find you online? Also, can you talk more about this planner? This planner sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's called I call it the Procrastinating to Profit Planner. 10 minutes a day to help you achieve goals in 6 months or less, like than more than you could achieve in the last year. Effortlessgrowth.co is where you can get a copy of that. Or I'll send you a copy of that.
Okay. And the 10 minutes a day, is it like mindset things or is it actionable?
It's all taking action.
All of it's taking action. Awesome. Okay. And can anyone find you on like Facebook or Instagram?
Yep. Once you sign up for to get a copy of that guide, I'll invite you to my private Facebook group, and as well, you can join me on Facebook or Instagram. But I'll like just pretty much go to that website and
Okay, thank you. And the links for that is in the description box below. And if you are a non-native English speaker in healthcare and you really are tired of doing it alone, whether you're the individual doctor or if you are the facility, please reach out to us. We have a free academy that anyone can join. The link for that is in the description box below as well. So, Jesse, thank you so much for coming on. This was really helpful.
thanks so much, Evan. I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Talk soon.